Hey guys, HuShang here. Welcome to another Starcraft 2 lesson. In today's video, I have a game I just played against Casually Explained. And we're going to be going through this one. I'm playing a swarmhost style, which I think is pretty obnoxious to play against Protoss. Whenever I queue Protoss and I'm playing against swarmhost, I literally want to kill myself. And so, if you're a Zerg player, this is an amazing style you can use just to get in your Protoss opponent's head. It's also quite strong. So let's take a look at this game, see how it plays out. I'm going to be using more of an advanced opening build. So it's not exactly the ZVP beginner build I showed a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, I think this is a good way to open. So it's like a 16 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pool, and then we kind of diverge from there. If you guys are new to the channel, I'm a Grandmaster with all three races, and I do quite a bit of coaching, so before we get into the meat of the game, if you want to maybe check out my link below the YouTube video. Okay, so grabbing our pool, and then here's where it kind of diverges. I'm actually going to rally this drone to the third base in a second, and I'm going to take that before I start saturating my gas. Now, this can be a little bit greedy against something like a cannon rush or whatever, but you're going to notice that with this overlord before it moves out. And so that's not really a threat here. Also, it's not going to be proxy gate because he's actually scouting. So this is totally safe. We can grab this. This is actually better against like one base all-ins, which aren't a very good option by Protoss, but of course you want to keep that in mind. But yeah, those builds are all trash, and having this extra larva is actually really good against those builds. So we filled our gas now pretty late, so we're gonna have a lot of minerals, more than usual. And our first overlord is just arriving at Protoss's base, so this is all standard stuff, like the cyber is just finishing, and we want to just pay attention to what this unit is when it pops out and whether Protoss chronos it or not. And you can keep your overlord here. Like if this is a stalker, the overlord can easily get to this location in time. So you want to place it here so you can see whatever pops out. And it could be closer, I guess. But this is a nice location, so you can maybe pop in here a little bit if you want. And then we also have this second overlord coming over here to scout the tech of Protoss. Now behind this, I made one queen. So actually I'll probably do a guide on this specific build. I think it's a bit more advanced. It's quite a bit harder, I would say. So I'll probably do a guide on this one specifically. I think it gives you an easier time against Protoss in the early game, and you get a little more economy. So basically you don't have to make any Zerglings right now, because normally you need 4 Zerglings to take this third hatch, but since we got it before Protoss even, realized we took it, then you just get it for free, which means there's no need for Zerglings. And if you want to scout with Zerglings, you can do that, I suppose, but we're going to use this overlord instead. So I literally have no use for Zerglings until, maybe this first adept runs across the map, which it is running across now. So we will make some Zerglings at this point, but up till now, we actually have no Zerglings, which lets us get quite a few drones. And yeah, so with this build, I'm going to spread some creep first. I have quite a bit of larva with these 3 hatches. And this allows you to move this queen super far out, so it's a lot easier to defend this first adept. We've pulled out of gas. We're just mining a lot of minerals here. And basically, I'm just going to saturate these first 2 bases and then try to figure out what's going on. So he tries to shade in, but you just follow the shade, no big deal. This is all normal, so like we can't really pick up too much information from here. We're basically just following the build so far. And I want to pause here because there's supposed to be an overlord here at like 42, 44, but I forget it. But you should get one right now. And then this is kind of the first time we're actually interacting besides the adept. And we see the Stargate, and we also see the Oracle. So right here, coincidentally, also 330, is when you want to throw down your spores. So if you don't get the tech scout by now, you can just blind throw down spores, but we see that there is an oracle in production, and so you're immediately going to see me get some spore crawlers. And then now that we know it's Stargate, like in the other game I showed against Stargate, you can be super greedy. Like normally you might want to get a roach warren here, but since it's a Stargate build, you can just continue droning. And then I made another small mistake here. This drone should be rallied here, and you should make a spore crawler immediately. But I did not do that. Now originally I wanted to set up for a roach all-in, which is what I usually do. But in this particular game, I decided to go for swarmhost, just for fun. But I think he would have died. Actually, he 100% would have died to roach all-in because he's very greedy with his build. Like he's supposed to get a robo right now, but he does not get it for quite a while. Or sorry, no. He gets the robo, but he doesn't get immortals when it finishes. That's what it was. And so now I get my roach warren at about 4:30 is a pretty good time. We'll also get the layer in a second. And yeah, so normally you would get it at like 3:34, both of those buildings. But since he went for Oracle, we can get them at around 4:30. And you can see me setting up for the roach all-in framework, or the defensive roaches, which you want to be playing regardless of what your opponent is doing until you figure out if they take a third or not. So you want to get like 52 worker, 4 gas, prepare for the all-in, and then here I've determined it's not an all-in, so I'm going to start transitioning. So you'll see me start making more drones and then just not making roaches because I saw this. Now here's where I was about to pull the trigger. I got 52 workers. I'm about to go YOLO all in with roaches, but something got the better of me, so I decided to I don't know, harass him a bit, I guess, with swarmhost. And yeah, he doesn't like it too much. Here's another thing you can do with Zerg that Protoss players hate, including myself, is use your Zerglings that you have from the earlier game and just sit right here, because what Protoss wants to do is not make any units and just sit their units next to the shield battery or behind this pylon, and that allows them to survive with like 2 adepts, which means they don't need to make any other units. And so by sitting your Zerglings here, either A, you kill their probes, which is nice, or B, you force some units or some energy, which is also nice. So basically a win-win. You're also scouting what they're doing. Like I can see he's making probes, not all-inning me. So lots of nice harass and scouting going on right here if you can manage that. Obviously I wouldn't do that unless you're, you know, masters, but it's a good addition if you are. And now we're hitting our, you know, 66 workers that we want. We're gonna get our infestation pit soon, I believe, and start setting up for those swarm hosts. Also, just as a general rule, you probably want to make some safety units right here. Unless you really know what's going on. So maybe like 8 roaches once you get fully saturated could be a good amount. So here you can see me getting a couple of roaches. You don't have to do this, but it's just a good measure, you know, in case Protoss pulls the trigger with like 52 workers and an all-in, you can add some Ravagers as he's crossing the map and as you're making your roaches. If you don't make these, then you're kind of forced to defend with only roaches and no Ravagers, and so that can be a little trickier. But he's playing pretty standard. Here's what I meant earlier though. He only has 1 immortal, and he's getting a War Prism. And if I do a roach all-in, he needs like 3 immortals right now. So he would easily die. He would be super screwed if I did that roach all-in, which is pretty common at this MMR. Like you can actually get the GM with just roach all-ins for sure. But yeah, he's teching up into Charged Archon. He should probably be thinking about Storm here, especially since I'm not attacking. Would be a good idea. And here we go, 12 swarm hosts. What does Tasis call these? The something muffins? The hell muffins? Yes. We're making the hell muffins. And this is pretty much Protoss' worst nightmare, maybe alongside Mutalisk. So if you want to annoy some Protoss, this is definitely the tech to go for. And yeah, this is a unique style because normally with Zerg you want to get a ton of drones, But this is the one style where you actually don't want drones, because roaches, both roaches and swarmhost, are really supply heavy. And so if you make a lot of drones with this style, you have no supply for units. And so you actually want to just stay on like 66 workers and don't go higher than that. Now he comes in here, he's doing a big attack. I'm pretty ready, but I mean, this is a little bit awkward because I wanted to run these across the map. So I have to launch a wave here first, but it's not too bad. He has to run away. He gets my queen, which is also annoying, but obviously we have a ton of units with this build, so this is not a big deal at all. And we do snag an immortal, which is pretty sweet. Maybe we could have snagged these sentries as well, actually, in retrospect. So now I have all the swarm host I want. Maybe I could go higher, but in this game I wanted just this amount, so I'm going to start counterattacking here. Maybe try to get a wave into Protoss's main and try to snipe some probes or some or the Nexus is my goal. And I saw this War Prism. Now luckily I saw this, because I think if he hit it over here or over here, I probably would have stumbled a little bit. But basically what you want to do in this situation is use the alt command. And if you don't know what alt does, you should definitely get a hang of that if you play Zerg. Is just grab whatever you want to defend, alt number, and then send that to defend the War Prism. So these guys are basically on defense duty now. I'm never going to move these guys for the rest of the game, unless I can go for mutas or something and deal with this. But otherwise it's always a threat, so I'm just going to leave them there. And maybe just to look at Protoss a little bit. If you're playing Protoss, you should stop at 66 worker against this and just never make more probes, because Zerg is also stuck on low worker count, and Protoss on 66 is better than Zerg on 66. So you just need to survive until you can get maxed and have a really good army, and then go attack, and then you should probably kill Zerg. But from the Zerg perspective, you can get a lot of damage with these and out multitask your opponent. So there's a lot of ability to outplay the Protoss, and I think most Protoss are going to get really frustrated dealing with this style. So try it out. It can be quite fun, especially this part. I actually messed this up a little bit, so don't do exactly what I do here. You want to launch these and then move command them over here, but I had them attack commanded for some reason, and so they went off on this pylon, which I didn't want, obviously. And what you actually want to do is just click on this Nexus, because this Nexus is going to die in like, I don't know, 5-10 seconds. And you want to just do this over and over again and kill the bases. But yeah, instead I get some probes, so I guess it's okay, but not ideal for sure. Now he does this huge zealot attack. My army was in position though, so this wasn't too bad, but I didn't want to deal with this. And I'm not sure if this is the right call, but my thought in the game was I want to all-in him, and he's never going to let up with this. And I didn't go, I thought there was a War Prism here. And I didn't go Mutalisk or anything like that, so I don't really have anything to deal with this. So I just make a bunch of spines instead. And yeah, so I throw down a bunch of spines, and this is going to let me move out without worrying about, you know, all these different counterattack options that he has, and just go for this push. And for him, he made way too many workers. Okay, he's actually at the good amount now. I guess we killed so many that he's in the right spot. So we corrected his mistake. And this is just super hard for Protoss to deal with. Like, this is so many units. He's taking this fort too fast. So we just push in here and kind of destroy him pretty hard. Make Zerg look a little bit imba. We're hitting some, we're eating some storms for sure, but it's not a huge deal. In the end, we win the fight. Ravagers are insane units, and we can just keep pushing. I actually got a lot of perspective playing this game. I didn't realize how much supply you have to invest in units when you play this style. Like, this is my full army with these roaches, and I'm maxed. So this is like all of the units you can possibly get, probably even less if you're on a reasonable drone count, unlike me. And so that's the main weakness of this style. So I think you definitely want to make some spines if your opponent's harassing you, but incredibly annoying and strong style that Zerg can use. So yeah, try this style out. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and got some nice tips. And if you did, leave a like, leave a comment if you have some questions, or if you have any suggestions for what video you want to see next. And I think that's all. So yeah, I will see you in the next one. Peace.